Rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in.
Got to say, we've taken a lot of flack for actually being bullish on Trump's America. And as an investor, we look at the markets and how they're going to do under his presidency. And we've said they're probably going to do quite well, despite the uncertainty that he's introduced in regards to tariffs. And it's very common when a new president takes office that there is uncertainty, even if it's the same regime, but a new appointed leader. Because often they'll put sort of harsher policies or changes or bigger changes in first to kind of get them out of the way of. And that's what we've seen Trump do. And the question we tried to ask and answer, certainly as it relates to tariffs, is what's the resolve to all this? What's the logical sort of conclusion that we can come to? And that is that we ultimately believe that tariffs were always a bartering chip, and that the markets were pricing in the literal implementation of Liberation Day. And what we were going to get was somewhere in the middle, if not potentially lower tariffs across the board. And I think that's bullish for the markets. And the clip that we just played was Trump talking about the markets going higher. And of course, yesterday, there was a sort of signing that took place, an economic agreement, which is going to result in $600 billion coming out of Saudi Arabia. And I think we've seen these thus far from private companies. We're going to see more of these. There's going to be more deals. There's going to be more bullish news for the markets. And the markets are recovering. Certainly the S&P 500, the largest index in the world, has now retraced over 78%, nearly 80% of its pullback. I think it's going to retrace 100%, and I think it's going to continue to go high, and that's a great environment for the cryptocurrency space to flourish and be a higher beta in the risk kind of asset class and actually outperform. I think if you look at where altcoins are situated right now, there has never been a better time to be in the cryptocurrency space. And talking a little bit about economic data and positive economic data, we had the CPI print come out yesterday, and it came out at 2.3, which was a beat to the downside. The Fed's target is 2. They're really kind of not giving too much forward guidance in regards to cutting rates. And actually, it's interesting because they were willing to cut rates when inflation was significantly higher back in October, November. Yet now there's a new president that's won. They don't seem to be that forthcoming, despite inflation actually being lower than where it was. And I think there is, of course, a bond market element to that. You would have expected bonds to get a bid on this uncertainty to the downside that was introduced by Trump and his tariffs. Obviously, we're seeing resolve. We're seeing economists readjust their forecasts in regard to recessionary fears on the back end of everything taking place. And I wanted to start with that clip because it's just more good news. It's kind of like living in a movie, isn't it? It's very exciting, everything going on. And I don't really think there's been a better time to be in the markets. And what I'm going to do today on my Patreons is actually look at small cap stocks, because if small cap stocks look bullish, well, they're a great barometer for markets generally having a flourishing time, and crypto is going to be the biggest performer out of that, I believe. And certainly if small cap stocks look good, well, your bigger caps are just going to continue to go higher and sort of retrace what we've seen. So I'm bullish when I look at the markets periodically, basically across the board. I think we've just got this truly, truly amazing time ahead of us. Certainly, as cryptocurrency investors, there's a duality here in regards to a good economic environment that sees crypto do well with that speculation it's traditionally done well off the back of. But now we're actually going to see the usage and utility and implication of this technology. So there's never a dull moment. We've always got so much to cover. And one thing I want to do is go to the cryptocurrency space and talk about UBS, which is a multi-trillion-dollar banking giant, and they were on Bloomberg yesterday. I want to play what they had to say, because it's truly remarkable that smart money, they want retail scared and out the money. Smart money is buying this, and they're buying it with diamond hands. So let's dive into this clip of UBS yesterday.
Alternative is not just private market, and also hedge fund, commodity, and crypto. Interestingly, recently when I talked to some of the traditional family offices, they were telling me they are now looking at allocation of 5% in crypto. That's the reason why even traditional banks like us, I have to make sure we get our platform ready to take on this opportunity. So I think definitely opportunity.
insane opportunity. I don't think people realize that the sort of crypto asset class hasn't even been allowed to become that. And it is becoming that. And we're yet to see the hundreds of trillions of dollars that slosh around in financial markets start to allocate towards it. We're seeing some of it, Bitcoin, best performing ETF of all time in terms of inflows over a period of time. Ethereum, a bit lackluster. I think we're going to see other altcoins like XRP and some others actually engulf Ethereum in regards to inflows. I think the XRP ETF is coming. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a BlackRock filing soon. But what we're going to see is the enabling with regulatory clarity of this industry and the allocation to it, of which you're probably talking not even 1% of the world is situated in. It's really only family offices, very rich individuals, and largely because within the US, there's been no regulatory clarity to enable this stuff. And that's all coming, and that's such a bullish fundamental driver for this market that aligns, of course, with technically where I believe we're going. So we've got some interesting things going on. On the broader macro picture, you've got the uncertainty with Trump, and at times of uncertainty, there's always opportunities, but we're ultimately more bullish than bearish using logic and coming up with a conclusion to how this resolves. You've got that taking place in a generally good environment for markets. And then you've got all the fundamental things happening for the cryptocurrency space from the technological point of view, and then the investment point of view, and then, of course, technically what we're looking at. You guys know I believe Bitcoin going to 306,000. It hasn't changed, really, since we looked at this bull flag that we called upside on the back end of. We recently looked at a falling wedge that we got absolutely spot on. And we didn't just look at falling wedges for Bitcoin. We looked at it for the likes of crypto stocks such as MicroStrategy. Look at this performing. Let's show you the total cryptocurrency market cap. Let's show you Coinbase, which is it's actually starting to, it's not that far away from being my largest stock. Obviously, we were buying this. And I have a group of people that have been buying this $30, $40, $50, $60. This could be a multiple $1,000 stock in the future, as crypto is going to continue to grow, and Coinbase is kind of in a lead position in regards to enabling all that from an investment point of view, certainly. These were all great indicators that the cryptocurrency space was going to turn around right when everyone was calling tops and ends for the bull market. And the altcoin market is really still to flourish. However, I truly think, I mean this, guys, and I'm going to put the camera back on me. There has never been a better time to be an investor in altcoins than today. Period. Certainly, the altcoins are going to enable this technological revolution that we are staring down the barrel of. I mean, the entire financial system, I don't know how much more evidence we need to show in regards to anybody saying, whether it's Larry Fink, whether it's all the other major financial institutions, whether it's governments, whether it's the banking infrastructure providers, they're all basically saying, look, crypto's the future. And everything is going to be brought on chain. And if you look at how much we've got on chain, what is it, couple $100 billion? And that's predominantly stable coins. I think the leader in regards to the stock market, the tokenization of stocks, is Algorand. It's now in that second position or third position. And obviously that's from the Exodus thing. But there's probably hundreds of trillions of stocks out there in terms of value that have got to come on chain. And why? Because it simply makes the whole process more efficient. Hundreds of trillions in terms of currency, trillions and trillions in terms of debt, and not to mention everything else, like knowledge itself being tokenized to run AI model and infrastructure and so on and so forth. I mean, get excited. Hopefully we do help you guys get excited on this channel, but there's just so much going on. I think you've got multiple paradigms in markets right now, and the majority of them, as far as I'm concerned, lead to a bullish outcome. But the cryptocurrency space doing exactly what we set it out to do. I think altcoins really are still to have their time in the sun, if you will. We haven't actually seen, which I think is more bullish than bearish, Bitcoin dominance fall. This is a great start, but we've seen something similar and we've seen it continue to climb. And Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, will fall. And you want to be situated for that, because the environment where Bitcoin dominance is falling is a bullish one for Bitcoin, but specifically altcoins in a major manner. And I think technically when you look at them, they're all setting up for that kind of price appreciation. I mean, I honestly couldn't be more bullish on this industry. I don't think I have a single family member that hasn't invested in crypto. simply because they haven't had a choice. I can talk to them and sort of push them a little bit more than I can the everyday individual. And ultimately, it's up to you guys what you want to do with your money. And there's no but with that. But what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, I mean, this is such an opportunity. It's unreal. Crypto down a little bit today. Probably the stock market stealing some of its thunder. But I do think we've got this awesome time to play out. We've still got the rest of the wedges to play out. They're progressing. I mean, even look at ETPs, which we looked at as a barometer. Look at these, all playing out. We've got broader structures for these. I mean, look at how right all this has been. I mean, you've got smaller sort of cryptos like HBAR and things like that. They've all still got to play out and perform to their targets, which is an entire engulfment of the pullback we've seen. And by that point, everyone's bullish again. Everyone's forgotten about everything and everything they've said and the kind of fear and emotions that they've gone through, and we're back on track. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you in the next Daily Market Update.